Hello, my name is Vikas Agrawal and today we are going to discuss about a chapter of class 10th, that is electricity. This chapter is very important as per the point of view from the board examination and other Olympiads like NTSE, SOF, etc. So before starting this chapter, the question arises from the student side and I'm expecting this question must come into your mind. Sir, how this electricity came into existence? What is the date of the discovery of electricity? What is the source of electricity? And what are the characteristics of electricity? So this is what we are going to discuss in this particular lecture, and by the end of this lecture you will be able to learn all those points. First of all, I would like to tell you the electricity came into existence by a fiber called amber. There was a fiber very long time ago. There was a kind of a spark generated when the amber was rubbed by some glass rod, and this is what happened, and the entire study because of this fiber came in the existence of the history of science, and we are going to discuss this chapter, electricity. So is there any date for the discovery of electricity? So I would like to tell you there is no such date defined for the discovery of electricity. So what happened? The amber gave the very initial start, and the further studies came into existence, the researches were done, and after that two of the very brilliant scientists of the all time, Sir William Gilbert and Sir Benjamin Franklin, played very important role to find the other things which is related to the electricity. The second thing, what was the source of electricity? But before that I would like to tell you what are the topics that we are going to discuss in this particular lecture. So in this chapter we are going to discuss about the topics electric charges, electric current, potential difference, and Ohm's law. So according to this we'll go sequence by sequence. So before that, what is electricity all about? This question must come into our mind. What is electricity all about? So electricity is one of the form of energy. We are having different forms of energy, like heat energy we are having, light energy, sound energy, nuclear energy, chemical energy, other energies, potential, kinetic. This is another form that is called electricity. What is the advantage of that? That it can be transmitted over a very long distance, and the loss of energy is very less. This is the benefit, and this is why it is used extensively. So it is generated on the dam, transmitted through the wire to the powerhouses, from powerhouses to the home, and we are using electricity, and we are having lights, AC, fan, washing machine, electric fridge, etc. These are the appliances we are using in our daily life because of the electricity. So this is the definition. So I would like to tell you it is the form of energy that can be transmitted over a long distance with a very small loss in energy. Okay, now it is divided into two different parts. What are these parts? First one is current electricity and second is static electricity. What is current electricity? Current electricity when the current is flowing from one point to another in a conductor. For example, if I am having a wire of this much length, it is traveling from this point to this point. This is point A to point B. When the supply is going on, the current is flowing, that study comes under current electricity. Okay. Second thing, static electricity. When the conductor is there and there is no such electric current flowing into it, the charges are at rest, that is called static electricity, when there is no motion of the charges. I am using the term charges, so we are going to discuss charges. But before that, I would like to tell you the source of both type of electricity is charge. If you can recall, in class 9th you studied about the atomic structure, Rutherford atomic model, okay, and other, where you have seen that there is a nucleus in between. There is a nucleus which is consists of positive charges, that is proton and neutron, and after that it is surrounded by the few orbits which consist of electrons. What are electrons and protons? Electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged. Neutrons are neutral. They are neither positive nor negative. So electrons are doing so many things. So charges are having two segments, positive charge and electric charge. So what is charge? Let's see into it. The definition says charge like mass. It is just like mass. It is a fundamental unit of matter. For example, if I am having my hand, this hand is made up of so many things. If I am going to say a particular thing, there is a particular atom into it, that is called charge into it. If I'm having the entire wall with me, the wall is made up of number of bricks. The wall is made up of number of bricks. Yes or no? Yes. If I'm going to take a single brick, that single brick cannot form a wall. It requires the cluster of bricks. Yes, isn't it? Yes. So a single brick is the fundamental unit for the wall. Similarly, for a matter, charges are the fundamental unit. Okay, for a conductor, it is having so many things, but the very first thing, the very fundamental unit is what? Charge. Okay. The representation of the electric charge is by capital Q and small q. This is how you can represent. Most of the time in the physics language, I would say, if you are going to represent single charge, we use small q. This is what we are going to represent by this, by small q. But if I am talking about the group of charges, I am going to use capital Q. Otherwise, one and the same thing. There is no such difference in that. The SI unit, the standard unit defined for the electric charge is Coulomb. Coulomb, this name, the unit is defined after the scientist's name. The name was Coulomb, and the representation for the SI unit is by capital C. Okay. You need to recall one of the important point. If you are going to write any of the unit in your life, you should not write the first letter by capital. It should not be, in a capital C. We are not going to use. It should be a small alphabet. So the SI unit is Coulomb. The charges are two types: positive charge and negative charge. This is what I have told you. Positive charge. This is what I have told you. Positive charge. This is positive charge and this is negative charge. If I'm going to say this is nothing but proton, and negative charge, this is nothing but electron, E with a negative sign. If I'm going to ask a cross question with you, the nucleus is mobile or the electrons surrounded by the neutron is in a mobile state, or in a different language, who is going to move, nucleus or electron? Most of the time you have seen that if the electrons are donated, the atom will be positively charged. If the electrons are taken from some other atom, the atom will be negatively charged. So every time the electron is going to play the very vital role into that. Yes or no? Exactly. So we'll discuss about the electrons most of the time by taking the representation of positive charge. How? Later we are going to see. And one of the most important thing, it is a scalar quantity. There are two kinds of quantity, my dear students. One is a vector quantity, other is a scalar quantity. Scalar and vector quantity. It's how we can differentiate between scalar and vector quantity. We have studied about the distance and displacement. Distance, that means if you are going to cover from point A to point B and again from point B to point A, if the distance is 1 meter, so it will become 1 plus 1, 2 meter. It requires only the magnitude. There is irrespective of the direction. So 1 plus 1, 2 meter. Whereas the vector quantity is, it entirely depends on the direction from the starting point to the end point. If I'm going to say the object is moving from point A to point B, that means it is traveling 1 meter distance. What if it is traveling from point A to B and B to A? It is plus 1 and minus 1. Minus 1 because the direction is opposite from where it is started. Very simple to understand. It is in a negative direction because it is in the opposite direction from where it started. So it is a direction dependent. So direction dependent quantity is vector quantity, but electric charge is a scalar quantity. Now we will see the properties of electric charges. What are the properties that comes under the category of this thing? The very first thing is unlike charges attract each other. Unlike charges attract each other and like charges repel each other. What does that mean? Unlike charges, that means if there is a positive negative charge or negative positive charge, they will attract each other. Whereas if there are like charges, like negative negative charges or positive positive charges, they will repel each other. By using a diagram, you can see that we are having Q1 and Q2. These are unlike charges. They are attracting towards each other when it was separated at distance small r. Here you can see it is separated by distance small r. Whereas there are two like charges, Q1 and Q2. There are two positive charges. They are repelling each other. This was the very first property of electric charge. Second property, they are additive in nature. Additive, that means if there is a conductor, there are few charges present on that. If someone is going to ask what is the total value of charge, so we can add into that. For example, we are having three charges. First one is plus 4 coulomb, second is minus 8 coulomb, third is plus 3 coulomb. By adding all the charges, by considering the sign of the charge, the final outcome will be minus 1. Plus 4 plus 3, that is plus 7, minus 8 is minus 1 coulomb. This is the second property. Third property, charges are conserved. That means charges can neither be created nor be destroyed, but for an isolated system. If I'm talking about the isolated system, that means, for example, here is an area that I have made. Over here, none of the charge come into it, none of the mass is going to be shared, no charge, no mass. Now that particular body is isolated. If the electrons or the charges are transferring from this isolated body to outside, or the mass has been exchanged, this body will not be considered as isolated body. But here there is no exchange of energy, mass, that means this body is isolated. For that particular system, the charges are conserved. They can transfer charges or energy into the system only. Inside they can transfer, but outside there is no exchange. That means the charges are conserved. They can neither be created nor be destroyed. Next property, they are quantized. Quantized, the meaning of quantized means it can be calculated. That means if I'm having a conductor, if someone going to ask what is the total number of charges present on the conductor, so this is what I can calculate, and this property is called quantization of charges. That means the quantization charges are quantized, and we are having a formula to find the quantization value. What is that? Q equal to NE. This is what we are having. The Q represents total charge. Q represents total charge. N represents the number of charges in a conductor, and this value will be an integer, because if someone is going to ask what is the total number of count of the charges in a conductor, that value will be starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It should not be the transfer of electron would be 5 charges has been transferred, 10 charges has been transferred, but it is not at all possible if someone is going to say I have transferred 3.75 charges or 4.5 charges, which is practically not possible. So N value will always be positive. And at last, the value of E, that is charge on an electron, and this value is fixed for lifetime, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 20. On the basis of that, we are going to see one of the numerical later on, and after that the another topic is electric current. What is electric current all about? The rate of flow of electric charges in a conductor. The rate means, here it is written that rate, that means it is entirely based on the time or the division of time mathematically. The flow of electric charges in a conductor. If the charges are flowing for a limited period of time, if I need to calculate what is the total value, this is how we can calculate. The mathematically it says I is the representation of electric current, Q are the total number of electric charges and T is the time for which the charges were flown. This is the formula for the electric current. SI unit we are having coulomb per second, as we know that the unit for the charges is coulomb. The SI unit for the time is second, so it became coulomb per second. But this definition or the existence of the electric current was given by scientist, so the unit was named after that scientist, that is called ampere, represented by capital A. And the most important thing, the direction of flow of positive charge is the direction of flow of electric current. That means if the current is flowing from A point to B, that means the positive charges are flowing from A to B, not the negative charges. I am repeating my statement. If the electric current is flowing from point A to point B, so that the direction of flow of protons will be in the same direction and the direction of electron will be in the opposite direction. So we need to remember this point very precisely. And electric current is also a scalar quantity. That means it is not a direction dependent. But most of the time student asks, sir, if the electric current is flowing from A to B, it is having a direction, why it is not a vector quantity? So I would like to tell you, because the charges are moving in the random direction inside the conductor. Because a battery or potential difference is provided. We are having the electric current provided to our houses. When we turn on the switch, the electric current was pushed forcefully to move forward, and the direction is random inside, but moving randomly, they are moving in the forward direction. So it is not exactly in the forward direction, they are moving in the random basis, and then they are traveling from point A to point B, and this is why they are not direction dependent and they are scalar quantity. Okay, let's see one numerical based on that. If 10 coulomb of charge flowing through a body for 5 seconds, so in a body the charges are flown, the total number of charges are 10 coulomb and they are traveling for 5 seconds. What will be the total current flowing through the conductor? This is what we need to see. So as per the standard pattern, we are having the given values with us. The total charge Q is given, that is 10 coulomb. Total time T is given to us, that is 5 seconds. So we are having a formula which is related to the electric current, charge and time, that is I is equal to Q by T. We are going to put the values. So let's put the values. We are going to get I is equals to, the value of Q is 10, the value of T is 5, and on dividing 5 with 10, we will get I is equal to 2 ampere. One of the simplest numerical that appears in the examination, 1 mark or 2 mark question in the final examination. Another question in front of us, we are having 5 electrons flowing through a conductor. In a conductor, 5 electrons, no 5 coulomb, no other thing, they are saying 5 electrons, they are giving us the counting for 5 seconds. Now the timing is given. What will be the total current flowing through the conductor? But we know the formula for the electric current is I is equal to Q by T. So how we are going to solve this? So let us write first of all what is the total given values are provided to us. We are having N is equal to 5, first value, T is equal to 5, and we need to calculate the value of I. If you can recall, I told you about the properties of electric charge. It says that Q is equal to Ne for the quantization. So we are going to use I equal to Q by T, or because of Q is equal to Ne, we are going to put the value as Ne. This is what we are going to use. N is given to us. The value of E is fixed. I told you we need to remember that value, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. This is what we are going to use. So by putting the values, we are having 5, that is the value of N. The value of E is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb divided by 5 seconds. If I am going to cancel out, the 5 will be cancelled out by each other, and the final answer will become I is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 ampere. You should not forget the mention of the unit. 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. We are coming to the next topic, that is potential difference. I hope you are getting this topic. And potential difference, the definition says it is defined as the amount of work done in moving a charge from infinity to a point. We need to see the potential difference. There must be some difference. If I'm having a water bottle with me which is completely filled, if I'm going to drill at the bottom, what is going to happen? Because of this difference, the water will come out and it will settle down until it becomes at the same level or less than that. This is what happens. Similarly, the work done is required to be done on the charges to moving from one point to another. For example, when you turn on the switch, the fan starts rotating. What happens in that? There is an amount of work done forcefully done. Like the charges are flowing from the switchboard by using a wire to the electric fan. It is reaching to the fan. This is the amount of work done by the potential difference. What is the formula for that? Mathematically it says V is equal to W by Q. Because of the difference, the amount of work done is being calculated. V is the representation of potential difference. W is work done. Q is the total number of charges. This is what we had seen, the amount of work done in moving a charge from infinity to a point or from one point to another. Okay, what will be the SI unit? SI unit will be volts, or the SI unit for the work done is joule divided by coulomb. Joule per coulomb is also one of the unit for the potential difference, or in short it was defined by the volts, so it was named after that scientist, and it is the representation is V, and it is also a scalar quantity. That means it can be calculated by using the magnitude or by using formula. It is not direction dependent. Based on that, we are having one numerical with us. 150 joule of work is required to move 10 coulomb of charge. So the work done is there 150 joule. Total 10 coulomb of charge are the number of charge, the total value of charge which is given to us. We need to calculate potential difference. According to the standard pattern, first of all we are going to write the given values. We are having W is equal to 150 joule, Q 10 coulomb, and we need to find V. We are having formula that is V equal to W by Q. We need to straight away put the values, that is 150 by 10. On cancel out 0 by 0, we are having V equal to 50 joules. I hope you are getting this. We need to write the given values. We need to write the formula for whatever they are asking, and which is related to the given data. We are having this formula. Let's put the values and calculate by using simple mathematics. Okay. This question asked number of times, and quite of the few times they ask in a very different manner, in some different, by using the language pattern. So Ohm's law, it says if the physical conditions of the conductor remain same, like length, temperature, that means the length should not vary again and again, and temperature should remain constant. Like it should not be like the conductor is kept at the North India, at Himachal or Himalaya, and after that they are taking to some extreme hot temperature, that is to the South India. That is the highest variation of the temperature. So it requires the physical condition should remain same, and in that condition the current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference. I would like to explain you in a very simple manner. For example, if I am having a battery or cell, a very small cell which we use in the remote, what amount of current you are drawing from that cell? A very small amount. Yes, of course, a very small amount of current is drawn from that cell. What if I am going to use the battery of a mobile phone? It also gives a lesser amount of electric current or supply. And after that, if I'm going to use the battery which is used in the bike for self-start or for other purposes, so what is going to happen? The more amount of current is provided. What if I'm going to use the battery of an inverter? It releases more immense amount of current. So here we can see the comparison. If we are having the small amount of current flown, the potential difference will be less, or vice versa is also true. If the potential difference is less, that the amount of current is also will be less. If the potential difference is more, the amount of. Mathematically, it is represented by when I is directly proportional to V, or V is directly proportional to I. So this is the mathematical representation of the Ohm's law. By removing the proportionality sign from here, we will get a proportionality constant over here, that is R. This proportionality constant is also known as electric resistance, and the unit of the electrical resistance is represented by ohm, and the symbol for the unit of resistance ohm is omega. Now the graph for the Ohm's law will be given as, now this is the graph of Ohm's law, which is V versus I, that is potential difference versus electric current, and it gives a straight line which is having a slope which is constant. For example, if we are going to calculate the value of potential difference from here, we will get the value of I. From here we will get the value of I over here, and from here also we are having some other value which is representing the value of I, and every time on dividing or by using a formula V is equal to IR, we will get the value of R as constant. Overall, now you will be able to tell us about the electric charges, about the properties, about the quantization, electric current, potential difference, and Ohm's law. Thank you.